literally just came and sat down just as we started going on live. So it just goes to show how synchronicity works with everything that's going on. So we've got a collective, we've got a group of women that we all support each other, we share each other's posts, we're there for each other, spiritually, mentally, physically, if we need each other. And Michelle suggested that rather than we sometimes do private group meetings. Rather than do private, let's do a group one, and bringing the collective out into the world, because obviously today is a very auspicious day, with the 22 to 22, whichever way you want to put it around. So we'd come on and just do a collective. So it'll kind of like be a discussion about how we work with each other, how we support each other, and if you are watching this live, and you've got any questions or comments, then please do, post them, and if you work with other people, what do you do? How do you collaborate and work as a collective? Because this year really is about collaboration and working with each other. And today is such a brilliant day for us to be so heart-centered and really connect with other people. Now, there are 5 of us. Vivian is in the staging area, but I can only bring 4 people up at the time. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like pass over to Michelle, see if Michelle wants to say anything, and then Jane, and then Caroline, and then Vivian, and then we'll come back and we'll just see what's going on.
Yeah, so what we do is a little bit different, isn't it, as well? So in our sort of our businesses and the way we connect with people, we help people emotionally, physically and spiritually. So it's about really, as we come together, I think as a group, all of those things are important. But I think what we do more than anything else is talk about our spiritual connection and, living a life where we recognize that we are spiritual beings in a human body, and we connect together and we share what we do, and we help and support each other and others. And I think, being that this number today, this two going across the board, even our start time for 2:22, it was just felt really right for me to say, should we do this live and share what we do? Because I believe that there are so many people out there that are realizing that they're a spiritual, they have this spiritual connection, and and things are happening to them, just like what things were happening to me a few years ago, but probably are looking to find some answers. And I get messaged all the time, what's the difference between you and her, and why do you do what you do but she does what she does, and how did you know this, and why do you believe what you believe? So I get questions like that all the time, and I say, well, what do you do to nurture your spiritual side? So yeah, so that's pretty much why I think that's pretty much the core of why we collect together. I don't know what you guys think, but the spiritual side for me is the strongest connection in this group. We've lost our host.
Well, if I'd say definitely that, I think our group, the Goddesses group, is those who are connected to their energy and their spiritual side of things. And that is what makes it amazing, because we're all like-minded people, all happy to share, who want to learn more, who want to reach certain goals, etc. And we can all support each other in that. And that's what's so lovely. And also, if you're not having a great day, which occasionally does happen, then we've got the others to lift our spirits, literally.
Jane?
Yeah, no, it's just such a beautiful thing to actually connect with like-minded people, and to be able to learn and to share and be supported. I think especially these days where we've all had different challenges, there are always things that other people can bring advice to you, and just talking things through actually can help you decide which way you go with something. And, you know, at times we're all lost, you know, we're human, we make mistakes, we come across challenges that we're not really sure what we should do. It's great to have those friendships and support, and to be able to use the spiritual aspects that we all have learned differently and come, you know, with different tools to help each other, and share that as well is brilliant. It's a really beautiful thing to do, definitely.
Caroline?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, and collaboration is always the key. And also, you know what, we're one. We are one. We think that we're individual in our own individual bodies, and that we're separate from everybody else, but we're not. Actually, we are linked and we are connected. And the more that we recognize that, the more that we see that the interactions we have with others are really showing us kind of what is going on within ourselves, and actually starting to sort of take that apart and be aware of ourselves within our scenario, and starting to make choices about where we want to be and what we want and how we want to live, and then bringing that out. And what happens is, when we make those choices, when we choose ourselves, when we start to love ourselves more, we start to attract people who love themselves more, who have that space and that capacity to give more and support more. And so, you know, I feel really blessed that I've come across you guys, ladies, goddesses, that are all on that journey, that are all striving to be more in one's own authentic self, and being that sort of valid self, you know, and taking responsibility for the self. And you know what, that when we collaborate in that space of authenticity, magic happens, wonderful things happen, because we are authentic. The people that come into that space recognize that it's perfectly safe to be authentic and to be their real selves, and to let all their stuff hang out and let it go.
Let it go. Let
Recognize
it go. Sorry.
it and let it go. Yeah, this is my stuff, and it's yucky and it's horrible. I accept that it's mine, and you know what? Now I'm ready to let that go. I'm ready to let it go and move on. And you know, that's the three steps, I guess, of like actually starting to live more authentically. And you know what, ladies, you do that every day. And that's why I'm here.
Yay! Perfect. And I do apologise for bursting into song there. Anyone who knows, I do a collaboration on an Angels and Spirits show, with a guy called Graham, and where he does mediumship and I do cards. And it's an in joke now, and it's like whenever he says "let it go," I just can't help myself when anyone says it. And also, I'll tell you what I've also noticed is that when people say stuff and it triggers songs in my head, and I keep wanting to sing out. It's like, oh my god, I need to keep, you know, need to be a little bit more, you know, especially if you're sort of like in a public place and you're hearing these conversations, you've got these songs and you want to go,
Let it go.
let it go.
Let it through. I mean, the angelic energy is very musical, and there's so much sound within that. And it is about, like, if you know, today is a very angelic day. All the twos are the angel numbers, and their energy is around us quite a lot at the moment, and it's really streaming through us. And really, they're really kind of trying to get us to recognize our own angelic self. You know, we think that angels are something else or something separate from us, yet it's not. They are within us, and you know, it's like our divinity. It's part of who we are. And as we start to own that, we start to sing and feel more joy, and recognize that, you know what, when we don't need healing, we're not wounded. Actually, we're starting to come into the realization that we're whole and complete and
Perfect.
and one.
Yeah,
Unique.
exactly. One with each other, one with the angels, one with the spirits, one with extraterrestrials. You know, one with Source God, Gaia, whatever. We're all just one collective energy.
And the planet and the universe. all the planets.
Yeah, start everything, including the flowers in front of me.
Love. Yeah, yeah.
Everything we know and everything we don't know.
And everything else in between.
Exactly. Everything and anything in there. So let's just, we're talking about how we all, we all work together and we all support each other. So, how have you collaborated with each other, Michelle?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose really, I love it when you sort of holding the space, because we can put our space online now, and we connect in cyberspace with lots and lots of people, but holding the space, I suppose I have a big area of land, don't I, that you all come down onto, and we do workshops, or we do wellbeing events, and we do things like that together. But but also we're coming together and talking about our businesses, what we've got going on, what we want to be shared, the workshops that we do. And essentially what we're doing is we are helping and supporting people as they step into their power. And we do that collectively as a group, and then it just ripples out, and there's a ripple effect, and it just reaches out to lots and lots of people. And I think, there's always that aspect of, I think when you step into a group like us, I mean, for me personally, oh, you know what, she does a little bit of what I do. So is there a little bit of competition there? Like this is the the voice, the inner voice or whatever. But then we realise that actually that's rubbish, because there's enough wealth, volume, whatever you want to call it, there's enough for everybody. There's enough abundance, let's use that word, for everybody. And what we do is we just have these like limiting words and conversations in our mind that we've been brought up with. I mean, I've had so many limiting things said to me as I stepped away from a teaching profession into my wellbeing business, and so many things, it will never work, this is what you do for a hobby, this is not what you do for your, this is not what pays the mortgage, and that type of thing. So just having that absolute belief in what you do, and knowing what what you have to offer, and really understanding what your value is, you can then support and work with people and show people that actually, if you're happy in that role and in your life, and you feel like all your needs are being met, crack on sausage. But if you feel like you are looking for more answers, and you're looking to live a more fulfilled life, and you want to live a more balanced life where you have this work-life balance, and you can create your own, create your needs and meet your needs, then step away from the old stuff. And I think this is a real defining timeline. This is a real defining date today. And if we look at what's gone on, but let's not dwell on it, the last couple of years, and there's been all of this kind of, no, we don't actually need school to educate our children. School's great, don't get me wrong, but we don't actually need to be in the office to earn this money. We don't actually need to do these things. I'm hoping that a lot of people are going to be stepping away from the old 9 to 5 work pattern, and just living just a more congruent, honest existence where we actually enjoy what we do, not just at the weekends, but all for all throughout the year, all throughout the week, all throughout the day. So that's sort of where I sort of feel I've really transformed over a 5-year period. Yeah,
I think you're right. I mean, people are almost like tired of the old ways. They're exhausted by what's gone on recently. It's been so extreme, hasn't it? And people are starting to think about, what is it I actually want to do? What is important to me? What lights me up? What can I do differently, rather than just the 9 to 5 to exist, to pay the bills, to be perhaps where you don't actually even physically want to be living. So a lot of people are looking at their quality of life, their calling to do something else maybe, or just to make more time for themselves in a good way, not being restricted, but to be able to be free to express themselves how they want to. And in the past, it would always been very taboo, you know, in the sort of corporate world that I had my career in, it wasn't something that you really touched on or dealt with. You just did what you were told to do. But even a lot of corporate companies recently have, you know, over the last few years have brought wellness into their businesses, because they can see the benefits that people, you know, people thrive when they're looked after and they're looking after themselves. And it's a great opportunity at the moment for people to actually step back and say, what is it I actually want, what is it I actually need, rather than what I have always thought I have to do, what can I do. So yeah, it's beautiful. And it collective, we bring different skills to help people with that, but we also help each other, you know, which is beautiful. So thank you.
Yeah. And before we continue, Mel says, hi, everyone. Hi, Mel. Thank you for joining us. And Teresa says, good morning. Good morning to you, Teresa. Thank you for joining. And that, Vivian.
Just picking up on what Jane was saying about the corporate world being more open to wellness and support. I've been for a couple of interviews lately, and I actually brought up what I do, as in the balance procedure. And even in the interview, I actually gave someone a taster of the balance procedure, which is a set of cards that you use to help balance your energies. And I'm like going, you know, a few years ago, you wouldn't have dared to do that. You know, it would have been absolutely no way. And yet, we had a laugh about it. It was two ladies who were interviewing me, and one of them was happy to be balanced, and she did feel it. And, you know, we just had a laugh, and it was really great. And again, when I went on another interview, the lady again was, I got talking about the fact, what do I do in my, you know, non-career life, if you like, for a better word. And got to talk about the balance procedure and doing healing and Reiki and things like that. And she was going, oh, yeah, you know, that's great. And she was talking about the things that she did. And you're like, it's great that now it's more acceptable to talk about it, because, you know, like people say 20, 30 years ago, if you said yoga, everyone would go, what? That's really way out. That's far out. You know, and now that's totally acceptable. So you think 20, maybe 10, 15, 20 years time, when you say, oh, I'm spiritual, or whatever word you want to use about it, or, you know, I connect with energies, or sources this, or whatever, you know, that's going to be mainstream. It's not going to be, what the hell are you on about?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally is, and you know, and it really is beginning to feel like that now with everyone, you know, and there's more men as well coming into, you know, tapping into their higher self, their spiritual self, which is absolutely amazing. That it's sort of like that ripple effect has gone out. And the children, obviously, that are coming through now, they're so spiritual, they're so connected. It's really amazing, you know, to think that, you know, in 10 years time, you know, there's going to be a lot more energy, higher energy, and people working together. Communities are you know, being built, and that's the thing, I think, for the last couple of years as well, is that it's brought more people together, more communities, people looking at, okay, how can we work together, you know, how can we grow food together, you know, how, you know, have these little co-ops where we can exchange food, barter food, with each other, you know, you know, where can we share holistic practices with each other, you know, even sort of like doctors and nurses, you know, sort of like going, actually, I'm coming out of the mainstream now, and I'm going to go into a lot more, still doing the stuff I do, but doing a more holistic level. So it's really amazing that the changes that are really taking place now. And what do you think, Caroline?
Yeah, I completely agree. I quite often get people referred to me via GP practices where they're just stressed out. And, it's like, don't take antidepressants. Actually, why don't you go and get some Reiki or go and get some energy therapy? Go and talk to somebody who actually has an awareness, a broader awareness, and someone that has time. Because, a lot of these doctors don't have time. And, that's the purpose, I guess, of counsellors, therapists, people like us, is that actually we have worked out how to hold space and how to give people time to have that space for themselves. And quite often it's not about us actually doing anything. We're just sitting in the space and being the witness whilst they do the work. And yeah, as for children, having three myself, and seeing just like the world that they are growing up in, and how switched on they are, and how much they are aware of energy without even using the word energy, is like, it's amazing. Their emotional understanding is beyond mine. It really is. They even catch me out and go, "Mom, you shouldn't think like that," and I go, "Oh, yep, you're right. Oh my god." So yeah, so the kids, and these kids, as you said, in 10 years time they're going to be adults, and in 15 years time they're going to have their own kids, and what are they going to be like? So we are evolving as a race, as humanity is evolving, and for the better, I think.
Totally. And
Sorry,
and
there's a book called Children of Now. I just wanted to, and I don't know if you've read that book, but I remember it's really poignant, and I've lots of people and adults that I work with that have autistic children, and the majority of the young people I work with have autism. I refer their parents to read this book, and it's amazing. And when I had my first sort of Reiki connection was with Denise, and she came to me and said, "Oh, Michelle, have you read Children of Now? You must have read Children of Now, because what you're doing is exactly what's in the book." And I said, "I don't read nothing, me. I might have an audio or a story read to me." "No, I've not read it." She said, "I'll get it." So I got it, and I flicked through the pages, and I thought, wow, you know what? I can see where she's coming from. But I didn't read the book. I'm going to be honest, I didn't read the book because, the young people are so sensitive to energy. They're so sensitive to energy. Babies are sensitive to energy. Straight away you've got, in certain places, the babies are running the household because they are so in tune with their parents' energy. They know how to get the result. They absolutely know. And young people know how to manage their energy, and they know how to get the result. They absolutely do, and they're learning it really, really well. Parents need to catch up with the children, in all honesty, because parents need to be able to know how to manage their energy and be able to keep, feeding back into their children, into their family unit, about energy. And it takes away the physical, it takes away the emotional stuff. Once you can work with energy and you can manage your energy, you can absolutely, come on leaps and bounds with your young people that are suffering with their mental health, with young people that are, living in not a mainstream. I hate mainstream, that kind of, this is the mainstream. It's not. It's just a massive river, basically, and we're all in it. So let's not talk about streams. But if we can manage energy, then we can definitely have a world that just encompasses everybody, and we can all connect, and there doesn't need to be any, hierarchy in people, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah. And Teresa says, you hardly heard of anything spirit unless you went to a carnival. Now you see it everywhere, which is, absolutely brilliant that it's come along. I don't personally have children, but I've got nieces and nephews, and, I've got lots of friends with children, and it is amazing to, just to see how connected they are, about spirits. I mean, a guy I know, he actually came to me and said, "Look, my daughter's kind of like into crystals." He said, I had to buy. We were in the shop the other day, and I had to buy this amethyst. She's got this thing for amethyst crystals type thing, and I want to get something for Christmas. I want to try and get her a big cluster of something. As you said, I've seen one online, but I'm not sure on that. And I went, I know somebody, and I pointed him to Mary Louise, and went and she just loved that present. And her younger sister, I ended up taking a couple of stones because her younger sister wanted her own. And that's just two children with parents who really aren't on obviously on the spiritual side, but they're willing to embrace what their children want, which is absolutely amazing. What do you think, Jane?
Absolutely. My own daughter started collecting crystals. I always sort of admired them from a distance. Now I connect with them and I love them, and I have my own collection. But that was, something he bought. Wherever she went, she would just pick them up and be drawn to them. And I think, it's just being open-minded, isn't it? And not thinking it's strange or weird. And if something gives you pleasure and lifts your spirits, literally, then it's such a great thing to do. And that Marie Louise does fantastic things with crystal bracelets and bringing energies to help people with healing, and there's so much more to it, and you can never stop learning, basically. And the kids today, are quite open to that, I think. I'm not going to deny that, a lot of perhaps the children are suffering with mental health issues because the recent stuff has been very restrictive and not what they were, brought up to do. They can't see beyond that with their life they haven't got their life experiences yet. But we've got great opportunity to guide them the right way now. And a lot of modalities that we all, have here can help people recovering from mental health illness. And it's just taking that time to work out what it is, because the traditional main medicines and GP sort of pharmaceuticals are not the answer. They're just masking what happens. And I've spent a lot of time in my life taking those things because that's what I was brought up. If you're ill, you went to the doctor. And now I think people are starting to open up to, if you're ill, work out what is you, and it will be different for everybody. A homeopath, it could be crystal therapy, it could be angelic Reiki, it could be any of these things, and you just have to work out which one you're drawn to and which one you respond to and you feel comfortable with. And that, I think people are starting to experiment and dabble in those things, which is great, because the world is going to come on leaps and bounds if people are open to these things. Our own business works on the holistic side of not only do I do angelic Reiki, but the way to be business is all about connecting people to nature, and that's so fundamental. It's always worked for me, even before I knew what it was. As a child, if I was outdoors in the trees, up the commons or whatever, I was a much better person. I had a brilliant childhood where I was able to do that, and I suppose in my teenage years ignored it. You rebel against things, but I came back to it, and I always knew in my heart that I wanted to move out of the city and connect in the countryside, and that's what I've done. And it's been something that I was quite fearful of doing at first, but as soon as I did it, I knew it was just right for me. So it's about opening people's eyes to the possibilities of what they can do for themselves. It's not about actually you have to go and get a treatment from someone necessarily, but you just have to have a mindset where you're open to what makes me feel good, what is actually warming my heart, and what do I enjoy doing, and go and do those things and work out what's right for you. It's a fabulous opportunity people have got now.
It is, and Teresa was sort of like saying, you know, then you get those that put their kids on meds to control energy. You know, her daughter would see spirits and still does, but the schools are complained and requested meds. But Teresa did say, I fought back, which is
Yeah.
which is absolutely brilliant, you know. And Beth says, you know, she's a children's nurse by trade, but switched to working energetically and spiritually over 20 years ago, focusing on children throughout her life. She's trained as a crystal healer, qualified back in 2004, and a wonderful journey and passion for crystals continues. So you know, it's just goes to show that there's so much going on, you know. And Beth says there was a video that I watched years ago. The Indigo Evolution showed children with gifts, but didn't address the challenges of sensitive children, trouble triggered, and presenting with challenging behaviour. Children for our current times already prepared for the shifts and the way of communicating. And she's also asked, any of you heard of Nancy Williams? She founded the ADH Studio. Incredible lady, helped many challenged children, supported families and presents. And Beth is based in Surrey, but feels the charity is no longer up and running.
Yeah.
And so anyone got anything to say?
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say, I mean, this is how intuitive these young people are. So I had a lady come to me with her daughter, and her daughter was going to be removed from school. It was, you know, she's going to be removed. Her behaviour is uncontrollable, and this little girl's going to be removed from school. Well, I probably worked with her for about 15 months to 2 years. You know, she's one of the first young people that I worked with. And what we did, and she actually, this young girl has a horse. So we started talking about energy and working with energy. And then I talked about the dynamics of the classroom and where she sits. Then I soon realised that she could feel my energy. So I said, you know, where can you feel my energy? You know, and she would say, I can feel it here. And you know, and this was from across the field, you know, where can you feel? So imagine then you take this young person and you put her into a room with all of these other children and the doors closed and everything's closed and all of this energy's bouncing around the room, and all this young girl wanted to do was exit. So we looked really quickly at where she sits, making sure the door's open for her, so so she can kind of focus on the energy out of the room as opposed to in the room, and giving her the exit card so that she could leave. We also worked on, you know, how she could not connect with other people's energy. So how she could recognize it and say, this is not for me. This is not my stuff. This is not for me. And just let go of it. Just not engage with that energy. Her life changed so dramatically. When her mum phoned me, just had parents meeting. It's been amazing. This has happened. That's happened. And also I'd say to the mum as well, come in and do the session with her and let's work on your energy too, you know. So it wasn't just that these things were going on at school, it was like a whole, and brilliant when parents go, yeah, let's try it, because nothing else is working. So energy, when you realize how powerful energy is, and you can manage your energy and you can manage other people's stuff as well by not connecting with it, you can change where you're going, for sure. Just want to say that.
So I'm really sorry, guys. I've got to disappear because I've got children to pick up from school. Talking about kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to fly. But thank you very much, everybody, and have a wonderful 2 day. And set some fabulous intentions for today, and ask the angels to help, because they will.
Okay.
Yeah. Take care.
Perfect. We've lost our host again, haven't we? But that. Oh, she's there. Okay. See you later. Where is she?
No, I am here.
Yeah.
I am here. Oh. You to look at the bottom. You should see me in the bottom.
Yeah.
No, I don't see you then on mine. It doesn't show you.
Oh, okay.
So Beth said inspiring. Thank you. That's lovely, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Thank you for joining, Beth, and bringing your your information to the conversation, because that really sets off, how we all talk. And yeah, Pamela, I see you, Ray. Hi, Pamela. Yeah, I've come back on. I don't need to start moving the screen around now because there's just 4 of us. So we're back on. Vivian, have you got anything you want to add?
I with my experience with autistic children and my lack of experience in how to handle it, I think there's so much that can be done in schools, and I'm hoping that schools will start to actually acknowledge that if they support their autistic children, they are going to get a lot happier classrooms and teachers and anyone who is interacting with the autistic children. Because if the autistic child gets the support in working with their energy and helping them understand, as Michelle's just been saying, then it's a win-win for everybody. The autistic child realizes, actually, I can cope with this, or strategies are put in place for them to cope. And the teachers are then going to have a calmer child. And so therefore everyone else is going to, not everyone, but the autistic child plus the children are going to get better educated because that autistic child is calm, or that one with ADD or ADHD or whatever the thing is. You know, it's just, I say it's just, people, there's still a lot of acceptance still needs to happen. To say it's energy, it's not, let's drug them with this, let's, yes, diet does come into it as well, but drugs aren't the answer. To me, drugs aren't the answer to anything. I know that's quite a bold statement to make, and I'm not saying to everyone drop your meds because you don't need them anymore. I take medication, I'm still working on my own stuff, but I want to get to that point where I'm not having to take that medication because I've actually cured what I currently have. And I just want everyone to reach that stage of happiness and joy and love, and just feel the love in them and feel the love for everybody else, so that when we reach that stage that everyone has that, won't the world be such a joyful place? And it's all within us. We all create it. And it's all for us to work on.
Yeah. I think working holistically is the way forward. And I mean, when I say holistically, it's all people, all together, working holistically with total love for all, total love and total acceptance for all. And as you say, that will help teachers, it will help the young people in the classrooms, it will help the families and the parents that are receiving and kind of exchanging. If we are all looking at, and I think, if we are all looking at managing and working with energy, and we don't have to label it one thing or another. I have young people that come to me, and they're Christians, and parents say, oh, well, when you talk about energy, can you talk about God? And I say, absolutely, because we talk about love and we talk about God and we talk about energy, and it all combines, it all comes together, and we are all really singing from the same page. So and of course, in what I do, there are no limits, there are no boundaries, and I'm working really hard to open up my space so that every single person can have an experience of what I do. There are no limits and there are no boundaries, and every single person is absolutely welcome to come and try and do what I do. And I think, when you look at schools and you look at systems, we need to look at life being an open platform for everybody, and there not being this segregation. There is actually a space for everybody in the space, if that makes sense. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh, Jane, we can't hear you, Jane. No,
Lost you, Jane.
We've lost Jane's voice. We can still see her though,
Yeah,
with the sun shining in, and that just the haze round. Let me try muting and then unmuting you. See if that works. Any joy? No? Okay. If you look at the bottom screen and look on the little gear icon, and go in and just check your microphone.
Might have to come out and come back in again, Jane, because that's what I had to do earlier. I sort of kicked myself out and then just rejoined.
Yeah.
But,
So whilst we're waiting for Jane, Pam says, when we discover what their individual passions are, focus and develop, that it's amazing what beautiful souls everyone is capable of developing into with proper positive encouragement, and it takes a loving village of support. Totally.
Yeah.
And it is a loving village. That's one thing we've really lost, and that's why you look at a lot of so-called third world countries. But but if you look deeper in and you look at the communities they have, where they support each other, they support their children, and and it is we've kind of lost that village style now.
Yeah, it is difficult to get back. Right, so ladies, I've got to go now because I've got some other stuff that I need to connect with. But I'm really, really grateful for you all coming online today, and every time that we all connect with each other, it's always great, isn't it? We always, we do pull some really good things together. So thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I'm going to now try to take myself off of this somehow.
But, yeah. I can do that for you. So have you got any plans?
For me.
Yeah, have you got any plans to celebrate today or anything else?
I'm just literally just going to really cook a nice meal and have like a really lovely relaxing evening, and just get myself prepared for my work that I've got to do tomorrow, and yeah, just get everything sort of, just have a really lovely afternoon, I think now. Yeah, no, I thought this is really good to just, look at this time, look at this date, and just think about, how working and supporting each other and sharing our knowledge is just so important. So thank you, and thank you to the people that wrote the comments as well. Thank you. But anyway, lots of love, ladies, and I will see you soon. See you later.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'll remove Michelle from there. So what have you got planned for the rest of the day, Vivienne, to celebrate?
Well, I'm hopefully going to make myself a nice nourishing soup. I don't know what's happened to you. You're flickering, but I don't know if that's just on my screen or whether everyone sees you flickering.
It might just be on your screen.
Oh, okay. It's very weird. Yes, so I'm going to make a nourishing soup, and I look forward to having that for dinner. And I'm also going to get into really do a really good meditation. I'm like going, this is an auspicious day. Amazing things will come from that meditation.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about various aspects of spirituality or consciousness or whatever, but I do have various packs of cards. Now, these obviously aren't playing cards. There's lots of different packs of cards that people can have. And I picked a card out of my angel deck today, which is one of my favourites. And it said about being powerful and using your power and letting people know. And I was like, oh, that's a really fabulous card. I love that. But the card that comes out of the pack is the right one for you at that particular point. The card, your energy connects to the cards, and the right card comes out. That's what I find. I just find it amazing.
I know, it is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you, Teresa, for joining us, and happy birthday to your hubby.
Yes, happy birthday to him.
Yes, happy
Have a
birthday.
lovely time.
And have a beautiful
Have
day.
an awesome day.
Exactly. And I am going to be doing a guided meditation this evening at 2022.
Oh,
It's definitely the one to join then. Can you hear me now?
we can.
We can definitely hear you now. Yeah, so I'm going to be going live at 2022. I'm doing a guided meditation for today.
That sounds brilliant.
So that's what I'm going to be doing. What about you, Jane?
I'm not sure. I'm just going to take some time out for me, and I'll probably join your guided meditation because that sounds beautiful. But one thing I wanted to share with people is that years ago, if someone said meditation, I'd have just freaked out and thought, how do you switch off to all the things you're doing, etc. And I really struggled the fact you were suddenly supposed to just be in this space where everything was, okay, and it really wasn't for me. I didn't find it that easy. I couldn't switch off all the thoughts in my head, etc. Of, what was for dinner, what was tea, whatever. How was I supposed to make that time? But what I have learned by connecting to you guys and on my journey is that you don't actually have to do a lot to switch off, and you can meditate when you're just walking along the road. I personally take myself outside and just switch off for a few minutes, whatever crisis I'm up against or whatever challenges I'm facing. I find it really beneficial for me just to step outside into that open air, fresh air. And that could be anywhere in the city, in the country. It doesn't have, even just looking out the window or opening a window will do that for me. It will help me relax, be calm, be in that space that I need to be. I mean, that is something so simple that everyone can actually has the ability to do. It's not magical in that way. It's not something special you have to tune into or be taught. You just need to give yourself time to do it. However, I do find if I follow guided meditations such as yours, Ray, it is such an amazing experience to actually take that time out and to be guided on a journey and listen to your intuition and see what comes through. And that's about practicing things and repetition. And it's like anything, you're learning a new skill. But don't think that, you have to be taught that new skill. You can actually teach yourself that skill. It's so simple and so refreshing to be able to do it, no matter what's going on. I mean, even if you're in a busy business conference and you literally go into the washroom for 5 minutes and sit and just be and just take that, nobody's going to hopefully disturb you in that environment, but you can actually just shut your eyes and forget about what stresses or strains you're under. And that's just a beautiful skill to pass on and let everyone know that it's beautiful. I will be joining your guided meditation because I know that will take me to a magical place. So
thank you. And I think Pamela's going to join that as well. And of course, the beauty when we all come together doing guided meditations is that we do create this collective energy, this collective uplifting that goes out and doesn't just affect us, but it affects everybody, especially if their intention is to bring love and joy and light to everyone around. So it is really amazing when everyone just comes together in when they have global meditations. If someone puts on, I'm doing a global meditation, I'm going to join it. There's somebody doing a global meditation this evening to support the Canadian truckers, so I'm going to be joining that one because again it's a collective energy that's coming in, supporting them, giving them protection, strength, and trying to bring the light into what's happening in Canada at the moment. So and Beth says, lovely seeing an angel card offering support. Totally agree with being still and connecting. Absolutely. And Beth actually says, go on, Jane.
I was only going to say, I think it would be quite a nice idea if we did an angel card, and I'm quite happy to do that for this space now. If you want, I'll grab my cards.
That would be absolutely lovely. Yes, do an angel card for us.
Hold on.
And that'll be absolutely perfect. And Beth says, Archangel Metatron can be called on assisting those more sensitive adults and children. Totally. And we shouldn't forget about the sensitive adults as well. Because we do sort of like keep talking about the children, but obviously there are adults now that again also need that help and that support, that we and understanding that we're giving children. We shouldn't just be medicating them either. At all. And Beth says that she's often them to shift for the evening. So Beth, you can, if you do want to, you can watch a replay for it. But let's see what Jane's angel card has got to say for us, and we'll wrap up.
Okay, I'm just going to pull one for anybody who is connecting today to this transmission, and anyone who's joined us, to see what guidance angels would like to say.
This is so nice, me not doing an angel card for a change.
Right, beautiful. The card is, let's line it up. Perfect timing.
Perfect.
So that's cracking. Now is the perfect time for you to act on your inspirations. The doors are open while you walk through them with us by your side. Don't delay or procrastinate, as all of the ingredients are right for your success. Everything and everyone is on your side and supporting your positive outcome. And I think that's perfect. I mean, we're talking about numbers today and synchronicities, and, you know, even on mainstream telly today, there was some talk about angel number significance of today's numbering and the 222. It's basically saying, you know, we've got great opportunities coming. If you can open your eyes, open your hearts, and be open to looking to different solutions to things that you possibly have come across that you don't really feel comfortable anymore going with traditional ways. The angel on here is, you know, has a beautiful instrument, and there's music coming out. I mean, start singing about what you do. Find the things that bring you that love and joy, and let go of all the bad stuff. With you know, let's work towards the beauty together. So that's what I'd like to share.
Yeah. And Sandy says lots of adults are looking for understanding of what is they're having at this time, and Beth says beautiful. And it was, you know, perfect timing, and again it's collective and energy there. Vivian, have you you know, we've only got a couple of a minute or so left. Have you got you know, any light language or anything that wants to come through?
Yes, it's yelling loudly at me to come out. So I could give you a couple of minutes. I may well shut my eyes. So if everyone just like chills, take a deep breath in, breathe out, and I'll just do a bit. So there'll be hand movements, and I'll be speaking in what some people call talking in tongues, or it's a language. Don't ask me what it is. It's just something that comes through me. So I'll begin. Elimosima hochikola moishimola somati hilema hochimola otomaisiki. Inamotishi somatakala simachikin is sopate. Inuhi no katakaromana katakatakatakare, katakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakatakat pa ishum sohi no keto kumala son particular ishumala hoicho kini kara gora enama hishi bodera tisho sote mana etkomana keteko mariona nisha kote esno hoicho no seto mai seto sete etemotikalne kiti roto tu te ala shushimo hita tito hale humala siso masakateno matikale to ko takatakina te esito chichicho hashiti to sito matikala tata etomola haitat no matikati asse metikete he tomola te c'est la just a quick little bit there.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vivian.
Beautiful.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you for that download. And Beth says, angels, I believe, guided me to listen today. Notification popped up from nowhere, meant to be. Absolutely. And thank you so much, Beth, for joining in with the conversation. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Sandy, for all joining in with this conversation. It's absolutely brilliant. And thank you, Mel, for joining us, and Teresa. So I'm going to, I've got to go off and to do something now as well. So thank you, ladies, for coming on, and thank you to Caroline and Michelle for this. It's been a brilliant conversation, so much information going about, and so much positive energy And Michelle says just caught the end. Love. And Sandy says, I channel language almost the same. Oh, perfect, Sandy.
Ooh.
We're going to have to chat about that, Sandy, because that's something you and Graham haven't actually mentioned to me. And Pamela says, thank you, my vivacious online village. Absolutely. And that's what we create. You know, that's what I try and create with my page and everything I do, my shows and everything, is to create an online village community where we can all bring our gifts, our talents, our thoughts, our words, our voices to actually all come together as a collective. So thank you all. And Sandy, yep, have a nice day. And if you are going to join me later, I will see you later. It'll be on my Radiant Angels page, but I'll post the link in the Facebook page anyway. So thank you, ladies, and take care, everyone, and see you soon.
Enjoy your energy.